Dredd vs. Dead is a game from 2003, developed by Orwellian, and published by Vivendi Universal Games. Made for PlayStation 2, Xbox, Windows and GameCube. Obviously we follow the titular character, Judge Dredd, which the whole franchise is named after. The game has 11 chapters. But first we start off with an introduction, where we are taught about the controls.
This is your health meter showing how much health you have. If it drops to 0, you will die.
I admire that design.
Your shield will protect you from occasional hits, but it cannot stand up to sustained fire. If
Yeah.
Of course, it's just around the corner.
So the first part of the game is a jumping puzzle.
They called me in for this.
I hear you, man. Imagine being the top dog and being told, hey man, you need to learn to arrest people. Here, use this robot to test it like it's an F-doll.
Position creep.
He looks like he has a screw loose, so we send him off to prison for 15 years. Alright, what's next in this fun adventure?
Judge Bellis here.
I Bellis.
You're gonna show me where the elevator is, I believe.
Dredd,
Wait.
action to tell Bellis to follow you.
Oh my god. Seriously? Like, they're either trolling me, or they think I might suffer from dementia. Guess that's how Joe Biden feels like. Next step, the shooting range. I'm actually really impressed with how much effort they put into the controls, as well as the diversity of the weapons. So first we unload a few mags on the fake people, before we unload a few mags on the real fake people. Oh yeah, and since this is the future, we arrest some holograms, because we simulated an emergency, like how life may or may not be a simulation. So then we start with the first cutscene to the real story, where we see a poverty-stricken megacity. You know, the megacities who survived because they were protected against nuclear weaponry.
The third decade of the 22nd century. Unemployment is endemic, boredom is universal, and only the judges can prevent total anarchy.
As Judge Anderson said, a world filled with anarchy and suffering. The first thing we are introduced to are protesters standing outside of the headquarters of the judges, where we are warned that there might be a plague unleashing upon humanity. I'm getting COVID-19 flashbacks, but Anderson does have a point, and if you don't know the virus, then you can get sniffed out like candles on a birthday cake, especially because people be living so close to one another. So the first thing you do is arrest the people who are protesting, because we may or may not be fascist. Also, I love how you can basically arrest anyone for any reason, and if they struggle against you and become hostile, you have the right to shoot and arrest them or kill them. Well, your lawmaker might go down. But if they shoot first, it's their fault. Boom, get arrested for owning a goldfish without a license. Sit in your ISO cube for 1 month. Wow, her cardiac might get arrested. I don't even think she fits in an ISO cube. Oh my goodness, 10 years for gravity? Now I feel guilty. Also, this game was so ahead of its time with its advertisements. Just look at this. Soy Joy, or maybe...
Soy boy!
Also, I totally thought this advertisement was unhinged, but I never knew it was gonna play a relevant role in the plot. Wait, I'm not spoiling like too much, right? Anyhow, you're watching the full game movie with my commentary, so I guess it's your own fault. It wouldn't even surprise me if they had this on the market in a few years. Also, they have these little bots that help arresting people. That's kinda cute, honestly. Also, you have these medical judges, and they sound so Dutch. Prick? You mean injection? Honestly, it still surprises me that people in this future still talk Dutch instead of Arabic from the radical death cult they let in. So then you stop a bank robbery, and then we get introduced to zombie vampires, who play a more significant role in the plot. Oh man, couldn't you save that woman before she got mauled by the vampire? Well, I guess that's the difference between a hero and an anti-hero. So we take him out of this world. Not out for dinner, because I would be the dinner. Yeah, that's right, Judge. Trust your guts. So then we need to fight off the first wave of vampires. Like, I was just clearing the level, and then I shot a woman. I swear it wasn't my fault. Like, she was just too big boned. Like, the vampires were already feasting on her. She would have been infected either way. All I did was deal the finishing blow. Also, I just really wanted to admire the skybox, because it's quite futuristic, especially for 2003. Very admirable, young squire. So then we kill all the darn dirty vampires. And we get rewarded with senior judge rank instead of rookie, as it should be, instead of punishing me for being fruity. Now it's chapter 2G, and sorry for the freestyle rap, bro. So basically chapter 2's title card explains that Judge Dredd originates from a world much like our own. Basically a parallel universe which is on a different frequency. Also, Richard Nixon got totally framed. Try to debunk me in the comment section below. Be sure to make an essay so I get the watch time. So chapter 2 starts off with the ship. And there's like vampires on the ship. I love that made up word, grog. I might add it to my dictionary. Then we see this awesome motorcycle with our awesome Judge Dredd on it. And they flew the ship straight into jail. Now we have to eradicate the vampires, as well as stop the prison riots. I am so in love with this motorcycle, baby. Ooh la la. Ooh la la. I would love to honk that horn. So the people who submitted now get arrested and get thrown into jail for like decades. Damn, I would have absolutely fought to my last breath. So we basically eradicate the vampires, arrest the crooks, and I swear there's like either Sylvester Stallone or it's an imposter. Very sussy indeed. So we open the door after we did some stuff, whatever. We kill all the vampires, execute them, boom! We also see these servers who look like they're from the 2000s. And we even arrest this guy who doesn't seem that hostile, but willing to defend himself, and we give him 5 years. I felt guilty as hell. Also, we have our first live-action version of the ISO cubes. Look at that, those are the communist bots, which Gen Z will probably rent for 2,000 bucks per month. That's what you get in late-term capitalism. The hoof iron theory, people. Also, this is where the chapter ends, after like clearing the prison from all of the vampires. This is where we see a cutscene of one of the judges being possessed and freeing the dark judges. There is also this telekinetic force, who has like psychic abilities. In the comics, Anderson being the strongest one of them, the girl we saw in the beginning of the game. We also see it in the Dredd movie from 2012. And I'm not sure if this judge in particular is like psychically gifted, but usually if you are sensitive to this energy, then I also think that you're also easier to like bend and manipulate by that energy. So random judge 4 frees the dark judges and he falls to his death afterwards. So then the dark judges fly away and we are introduced to the next chapter at the docks. Also, I love these title cards. Also, did Judge Dredd literally just throw away a can of Red Bull? He should arrest himself. Also, I love the in-game advertisements. That should be criminal. So we here now to arrest the gang. Also, I sometimes call the dark judges dead judges because that's kind of what they embody. Also, we're introduced to this dead cult who eventually turns out to have like kidnapped some judges. And they probably used them to summon the dark judges in the ritual. Yeah, they're cultists. So then we are in chapter 4, the Ryder Mega Mall, which is now overrun by zombies and we gotta shoot them to hell. Also, I love this dark humor, it's silly. Also, I bet they weren't that different from their human state. So we get in there, execution commence, we save some civilians before the deadest disco, and we even become a little bit less fascist in the process. That's a win-win, baby. Thanks for saving my ass, Daddy Dreddy. So we escort them to the ship, and we enter the next chapter.
Undead creatures. They're both infected with pet regen retrovirus.
Looks like the dark judges aren't responsible then. Time I brought in Icarus for questioning. Where is he?
Discovering this plot twist makes the story a lot more interesting. Next we're headed to Icarus, cause that dick's flying too close to the sun. So as we arrive there, the robot doesn't let us in, so we have to arrest them. We take the elevator down, but all the alarms start to go off. All the staff turns hostile, and we must shoot before asking questions sometimes. So then we blow up a few computers in order to get to the heart of the institution where Icarus is located. And he's gotten so mad with its creation that he infected himself.
The famous Judge Dredd. What
But luckily Judge Dredd knows a cure against the serum, blowing a hole in the doctor's fucking head. Then we learned that blowing up all the machinery had consequences. We have to evacuate the building ASAP because it's gonna blow to smithereens any second now. Also, the dead cult is in the basement of Icarus's medical operation. Also, I love how Dredd is arresting people while the building is almost blowing up. Technically, he is correct when he's giving them a life sentence in those cuffs. It's not a long life, but it's a life, I guess. Then you evacuate and you're in the next chapter. We run out of the tunnel and we enter a church of the dead cult. Then we walk onto the streets outside and we face off with the gang, while escorting an NPC judge who is usually so stupid that he gets himself killed. But I've seen worse, you know, so I'll cut him some slack. You escort him to the ship and easy peasy lemon squeezy. Street judge? Ah, grok. So then we enter chapter 7, the Clooney Hospital, where the very first dark judge is located. The cutscenes are dark and grim humor as always. I love how Dredd is just watching someone run to their death. And then it's like, whatever, I've seen worse on a Tuesday. So basically you shoot the zombies, you free the hostages, you shoot the dead corpses as well, because they might revive because of the serum. But yeah, it's basically another escort mission, because Judge Dredd's so sexy. Also, I love how the rooms you have to take the hostages in are filled with dead bodies. Anyhow, you finish that, you go through the hospital, and you meet the dead judge. So you don't want mortars to kill innocent people, so you have to escort them out. Before you can apply some sort of gas which makes him like run into some containment room. Yeah, whatever. And yeah, we can't really kill him because he is possessing the body of an innocent judge. Oh, is he? Just look at that head. Oh.
Others remain to judge your life-infested city. Give up your worthless battle. Control, get a side squad down here fast.
So for context, the dark judges think that life is evil and that death is peace. So they the judges of death. Haha, I am the law. So chapter 8, we fight the second judge of death at the smokatorium, some place where people smoke, I guess. His name is Judge Fire, and his sense of humor is hot stuff. That's hilarious actually. They should use that in an anti-smoke commercial. The devil turning around and being like, sure, I have a light, man. The devil turning around if you ask for a light. Sure, I've got one, baby.
Find another way in, Dredd.
So now we need to find the sprinkler system and activate that, in order to lure the judge to a certain room again. Yeah, using the elements like we Batman. Also, I love how that woman said inbred. It sounded like inbred. So then we lure him outside, we use the ventilation system, and then we tear that body apart, because only fans can kill. So now I guess we don't really care about the judge. Oh well. And we capture the dead judge.
That's 2 down. 2 to go.
So then we're called in by a colleague because there's a situation occurring. So then we start chapter 9. Ah yes, chapter 9, Resec, where they recycle composing dead human bodies. Ugh. So as always, we make ourselves a way to Judge of Death number 3, after shooting a few vampires and being a little bit disgusted by the environment. Also, I know I already mentioned this, but I love the diversity of weaponry you can use. There's also like a secondary option of like multiplayer where you can do a versus mode. But anyhow, oh my god, ADHD, stop taking over. So then we see Judge Fear doing what he does best, killing people. And then we see the dead rise. Also, another dude gets mauled right in front of us and Dredd is just like standing there. So we shoot a few more zombies and vampires and make ourselves a way to the other judges of death. Honestly, I expected a fight, but Dredd was outsmarting the Judge of Fear in a cutscene, where he basically just shot the ceiling and made the Judge of Fear fall, getting picked up by mechanical arms, torn apart, then thrown into another machine, which grinded him into like little pieces, only his spirit escaping, being up for chase. Then Judge Dredd following the Dark Judge. Yeah, I know, it's Dark Judges, but technically speaking they do bring death, you know. So it just makes sense in my head. So then we're in chapter 10, the Undercity. This is where Dredd loses all communication with the headquarters.
Anderson! Rock!
So you shoot some more zombies because the little bastards are everywhere now. And then you manage to go higher and higher until you're above sea level again and get into contact with the headquarters again.
Signal, so we should be able to communicate from now on.
So then you're nearing a museum. This is where you fight Judge Fear. Also, the dead cult members there are popping like shrooms. Also, I love that artwork. We've got Isis here with Horus. She looks like Meta too, but minus of Ma'at, the goddess of justice. So then you shoot the hell out of Judge Fear, and then you apprehend the criminal. So then Judge Dredd sees a portal to a different dimension, the realm of the Dark Judges. And this is where chapter 10 ends. We follow Anderson and her squad to the Dead World. That's the actual name of the realm where the Dark Judges come from, if you wonder. And this is already the last chapter of the game, unfortunately. Too bad, guys, but it's a solid one. So the name of this judge is actually Judge Dead. Yeah, sometimes I say Dead Judges, but I'm just gonna hide my responsibility and hide behind the cloak of autism. So now we reach Dead World. That's a nice admirable design right there. So this has a few new elements, like skeletons rising out of the dust. And I really appreciate that creativity. I like that, it really adds something extra. So then you make yourself a way through the world. And for some reason there are dead cult members there who are still alive, as well as vampires for some reason. Like, maybe the portal's still open. And yes, you might have seen this game with more gore, but there's an option to turn that off. So even the kids can play it. Because that would be a great idea. So I kind of wanted to stand still at the fact that they designed this whole world for like a campaign of 10 minutes. But I don't want to waste your time either, you know. So then you have a final encounter with some cult members. And then you go to Judge Dead, who obviously kidnapped Anderson because she's a beauty queen. Also, Dr. Dick, his body is there. I like that. Dr. Dick, that sounds funny as hell. So then Judge Dead possesses Icarus' body, who looks like a lobster by the way for some reason. And hypothetically speaking, you don't need to fire a single shot at him. The telepathic squad that Anderson took along got stuck in these machines which now keep Anderson stuck, abusing these particular judges their telepathic abilities and psychic gifts. So if you unleash the judges again, you don't just have enforcers for yourself, but eventually if you free all of them, they'll work together to get Judge Dead's ghost out of Icarus' body. And I guess that the moral of the story here is to never underestimate your opponent. Yeah, sure, in the desperate ploy, Judge Dead still tries to possess Anderson her body. But I guess she's just too strong, and Dead's dysphoria was just too bad in the female body. So then our judges jump into a pit and we end at a mission over screen. And then we get another cutscene explaining to us that Judge Anderson is such a powerful psychic that she managed to contain Judge Dead, his spirit, inside of her.
Good work, Dredd. Rest assured that we're stepping up security on the Dark Judges.
What about Anderson?
Containing Judge Death's essence was a terrible strain on her.
But she's doing fine, thank you very much. Joe, you weren't worried about me, were you?
That's absolutely fascinating. If there was ever a sequel made for this game, they might have done a Ra's al Ghul, Batman Beyond, Tanya. If you get the reference. If you know, you know. Anyhow, that's where the story ends and we drive off into the sunset on a motorcycle. Yeehaw, baby. That's Dredd vs. Dead for ya. Pretty neat. Pretty underrated.